I really, really enjoyed myself in this film. I totally understood what was going on this time, and but I love the storyline. I really enjoyed this dysfunctional family really going at it, and showing that nothing is thicker than blood. I guess is thicker than water.
Yeah.
For you, why was it important to come back, and what was important for you to come back and play Hades again?
Well, I think they had me in a bit of an arm lock that I would come back when I signed up for the first one. But I think we all felt that we could probably up the game a bit, having everyone involved. I've done the first one, which was fine. But I know Liam and I wished we'd had a little bit more stuff to grab hold of in terms of scenes and relationship and a bit. And I think Jonathan Liebesman really wanted to make, well, not just Zeus and Hades, but Zeus's relationship with Perseus, the whole thing have a little bit more traction. The family relationships carry a bit more weight.
How
and I really sorry.
I'm sorry. No.
I really felt when I just saw it this morning. I really felt that for a wider audience that you're very clear about the relationship and the history, and I thought it was really the relationship developed.
How collaborative was Jonathan with you guys to let you kind of establish these characters this time around?
Very. Wanted our input. We sat down with one of the writers, and we talked about ideas for things. I think I remember the idea that the gods don't die; they just go into oblivion. Something I like, because I kept on saying, but by definition, gods don't die; they are immortal. In this, they disappear, but it's not like death as we know it. It's a kind of non-space, a non-death thing where they're neither there nor here. They're in oblivion.
Yes, in the back of our minds, we always know they're there. It's a little bit of. I think there's a little bit of Hades in all of us, don't you think?
Of course, the light and the dark.
Yeah, it's very cool. Like I say to every time I speak to you or talk about you, nobody plays badass better than Ray Fiennes. And boy, do you have a history of badasses on film. Is there one that has particularly challenged you, or at the end of the day, after you've stopped playing, it was hard to kind of get rid of him?
The two badasses, or really disturbing guys. One was Armand Gert in Schindler's List, and the other was probably Francis Dolarhyde in Red Dragon, because Thomas Harris does a great backstory on this guy, and I did a lot of research about serial killers, and I found that quite disturbing, actually. I did so much reading and saw FBI interviews with seriously troubled people who had done really horrific things, and if you soak that sort of stuff up, it gets upsetting after a bit, because that's all, like anything, if you read about it, if you immerse yourself in any subject, it sort of swims in your head. If it's an interesting subject that's not necessarily upsetting, it can be good. But I remember working on that and feeling something got to me then in that one.
I can imagine, yeah. It's a nightmare city for sure. That was a great performance as well. Working again with Liam Neeson and being able to have more screen time with him. The two of you look like you just did have a little bit more fun this time around, though.
I know sometimes we're looking at each other, acting very seriously, and then just go up, just break into laughter, because we suddenly catch ourselves acting gods with beards and lots of hair.
Yeah, like a little silly, but fun.
Yeah, silly, yeah. It's like when you're kids, here we are, two guys, in our middle years, acting gods, and you've got to smile.
You do. It doesn't get much better than that, Rafe. It really doesn't. Watching somebody like Sam Worthington in this role and the passion that he exudes, pretty well for everything that he does, but just to stand back and watch him, what's your opinion of Sam?
Well, I think he really holds the centre in a brilliant way in this. He's really beautiful, sort of understated, deeply felt, charismatic, sort of, strong. He has lots, in a very subtle way, he has lots of nuances going on. And I thought, in these kind of big spectacle things, the hero, it's quite, I think it's very hard to play the hero with the right level of sort of, weight, and then have humour, and have, it's always, I think it's always very attractive when the actor can just have a delicate, ever so slightly have that little glimpses of humour, and they're like little winks to the audience that, we could still have a laugh and a smile. I thought he did it beautifully. I thought it was a beautifully pitched performance.
Yeah.
In you know, where everywhere around him he's being challenged by monsters and explosions and bits of rock falling and trees falling, and but I think that Jonathan really, you know, I thought made sure that Sam's work was given a great platform. There's lots of great close-ups and things.
He did a great job on that.
He did.
Do you still get challenged by the CGI thing, especially with the scene with the Kronos at the end? And I mean, you're looking up to nothing, and does that still challenge
We were in. It's funny seeing that landscape, which I suppose people look and they think it's somewhere in ancient Greece. It's actually in South Wales, near a place called the Brecon Beacons, known for its heavy rainfall. So it's funny to think there we were in an old slate mine in South Wales, pretending there's this thing, and going, throwing back. The idea was that the Kronos' energy are like great fireballs of destructive power coming towards us, and we would gather power from the air and gather it and then send it out. Can you feel the power?
I can. Thank you for recreating that for me. That was awesome. So he can do anything, this guy. I just quickly, you have so much stuff coming up, but one thing that we are so excited about is a little movie, a new James Bond film. And I know you can't really talk too much about it, but can you recall the first James Bond film that you ever saw? And are you a fan?
When I was a teenager, I was a big fan of the books more than the films. I've always loved the films, and but I can remember being taken to see On Her Majesty's Secret Service with George Lazenby doing his only performance as Bond with Diana Rigg and Telly Savalas. And being absolutely captivated by it as a young, I must have been about 8 or 9. I was taken to see it with my father. My mother disapproved of James Bond. She thought it wasn't the sort of material I should be getting into. My father liked it. And my mother always teased him because he had 2 hardback editions of James Bond, you know, in their original. And to my mother, they were seriously a paperback thing. They weren't, you know, she would tease my father about being so extravagant that he would buy hardback editions of Ian Fleming.
Wow.
But I remember seeing. No, I've always. I mean, I did. I was a Bond fanatic when I was in my teens. I could answer any quiz on Bond books.
Well, I'll quiz you next time I see you.
No, not
for
now.
Sure.
I've probably forgotten half the stuff.
Knowing you, I doubt it. I know you have a great memory. You are so fantastic in this. I look forward to everything that you have coming up. Great expectations, and you're going to be playing Dickens. My God, and you're going to be directing again, right?
And the Dickens project. It's called The Invisible Woman. It's about Dickens' relationship with a young actress, Ellen Ternan. It's a true story.
Wow, amazing.
Yes, he met a young actress when he was highly successful, at the peak of his career. He fell in love and then hid her. I mean, it's her story, really. It's really from sort of based on her. It's her remembering it.
Brilliant. Well, after what I saw in Coriolanus, my God, you could direct the phone book, my friend. Congratulations. It's always lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much. Great seeing you again.